If we become smug and complacent in the presence of Yah, it leads then to arrogance and assumed privilege. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 2 of the Torah portion, Tzav, which means command. Let's go back to the book of Leviticus, or V'ikra, chapter number 6, and begin reading with verse number 10. And the priest shall put on his linen garment, and put his linen trousers on his body, and shall take up the ashes of the ascending offering, which the fire has consumed on the slaughter place, and shall put them beside the slaughter place. And he shall take off his garments and put on other garments, and shall bring the ashes outside the camp to a clean place. And the fire on the slaughter place is kept burning on it. It is not put out. And the priest shall burn wood on it every morning, and shall arrange the ascending offering on it, and shall burn on it the fat of the peace offerings. And then verse 13 reminds us once more, the fire is continually kept burning on the slaughter place. It is not put out. This ritual that takes place every morning is very important. The man who performs this is a priest. He has a very close proximity place to the Most High. In his daily labors, he walks in sacred ground. He is very much keenly aware of who he is serving, where he is walking, and what he is doing. He has to be. Because while it would seem that he has the privilege of such a place, he has the responsibility, again, the accountability of such a place. Every morning, there are ashes that have collected at the slaughter place altar. Where did they come from? The daily ritual is the following. At 9 a.m., a lamb is laid on that altar. The fire must be extremely hot. That lamb is to be fully consumed until it is completely consumed and reduced to ashes. At 3 p.m. in the afternoon, this process is repeated. An additional second lamb now is placed upon the altar, and it burns. In fact, it burns all night long until again it's reduced to ashes. The morning and evening ashes then are collected every morning. A priest puts on white linen garments, a long shirt, his trousers. He takes a shovel, he takes a collecting pan, and he goes and he shovels out these ashes and then brings them to a clean place outside the camp where they are properly disposed of. It's kind of like perhaps in our understanding here in America that when an American flag has become worn out and the wind has ripped it, it's become tattered and holes are in it, then it is properly folded and buried. It's given an honorable burial, if you will. And so the same thing, it's the same protocol, the same sense of showing honor that are shown to these residual ashes from the altar. Now, what are these lambs for? We'll learn more about them in the book of Numbers, Bamidbar, chapter 28, when we get there. Today, let's just understand that they are vitally connected to Exodus chapter 24. They are standing before Mount Sinai. Moshe has young men to build altars and to present offerings, and they are Olah and Shelamim. That means that they are a whole burnt offering of which nothing is to remain, and then peace offerings of which a portion is given back. Moshe collects the blood from these offerings, and he sprinkles the covenant that is written on a scroll. Then he does something that is rarely done. He takes of that blood and he sprinkles the people. The people respond. The Hebrew phrase is Na'aseh v'nishma. That translates to, we will do and we will hear. Now, one might think that we should say, we will hear and then we will do. No, it's the proper order. We do and we will hear. That is to say, even without understanding of why, We will hear the word and do it. We do, understanding that with the obedience, the reasoning will become clear to us. And even if it doesn't become clear to us, we still will obey. Every morning at 9 a.m., every afternoon at 3 p.m., the morning and evening sacrifices are laid on, declaring in behalf of Am Israel, we will do and we will hear. After that last offering has been consumed overnight, the fires have been stoked, the heat has been consistent, the animal has been fully consumed, is reduced to residual ashes, they're scooped out. Then the fire is rekindled, kept hotter until 9 a.m. That next offering is laid on there so that the fire is hot enough to consume it. The understanding is the fire must be continually burning, but not just in coals, but wood laid on so that the heat remains consistently hot enough to consume. To become complacent, to have an attitude, I've got to a comfortable place in Him. I've plateaued. This works for me and my schedule. This is the time allotment that I have. This is the intensity level that I'm willing to walk in. This is where I think I want to be. I just want to kind of maintain. What happens when a greater sacrifice, though, is required of us? A greater intensity. The battle heats up hotter, more fierce than what we might have imagined. Are we going to, no pun intended, but are we going to bank on the coals to be hot enough to get the job done? Or would we prefer that plenty of fuel has been added so that the intensity level of our walk with Him maintains sufficient heat? Now, I understand all of us have issues that wrap up our attention. It's hard. It takes work to stay at it, to stay rightly focused, to stay intense, to stay motivated. These are great challenges for us. But Yah is asking you and I to do what is necessary to stay hot before Him. And that includes removing the residue of past victories, lest we rest on our laurels, lest we feel like I've got enough medals on my chest to get me through. I've got enough victories that I can talk about. I really don't need anything to add to this. When you sit in an audience or watch something on a video, you're hoping that whoever is doing the speaking has something fresh, something new, something a little more edgy, because you want to learn, you want to hear, you want to grow. That takes time, that takes preparation, and it takes keeping the fire hot. Anybody, everybody can lose the intensity. Everybody can just pull out from what we've already had and go with it. But Yah's asking for the fire to remain hot. Now, Rav Shaul addressed this same issue with a young man by the name of Timothy in 2 Timothy chapter number 1. In verse 6 and 7, he says this, "For this reason I remind you to stir up the gift of Elohim which is in you through the laying on of my hands. For Elohim has not given us a spirit of cowardice, but of power and of love and self-control." And so he is reminding this young man to blow into an intense flame again, the fire that burns within him. There is this beautiful process where if the coals have been reduced down, maybe they're even covered with ashes. If you breathe on them, you can see the fire begin to glow. If you add fuel and put some breath to it, the fire can reignite, catch, and it can burn as hot as it ever has. Oh Yah, send the breath of your Spirit and blow on the coals of our hearts. Let the embers glow red one more time as we add the fuel of obedience and consecration to you, our devotion, our study, and our prayers. Let the fire burn again. More tomorrow. Till then, shalom.